Hello, welcome back. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Natalie, and today I wanted to talk with you guys about how I rescued my skin. So I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went out of town and we rented a place in Colorado for my birthday for a few days and disinfected everything and went to the store, and whatever we brought back we disinfected. But it was a nice getaway. Actually, it was a really nice getaway, and I don't know if it was going to Colorado where there is no humidity or moisture in the air, and coming from Florida where there's high humidity and moisture in the air, or if it was using a new device which basically just helps you clean your face. They make different ones. I think mine was the Urea Mini. I don't know if that was too aggressive. Possibly fragrance in my skincare. Not everyone is sensitive to fragrance, but some people are. I didn't know if I had just become sensitive to it. The other possibility was the fact that I was using a chemical exfoliant and a different one every day, along with using a physical exfoliant, usually like 1 to 2 times a week. So I feel like a lot of those things can cause problems. Maybe it was just a culmination of all of them. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't really have a way of deciphering which one it was. And maybe they wouldn't either, or maybe I need, maybe at some point I'll have to do an allergy test. But basically what happened is I got major irritation, so everything stung when I put it on my entire face. And I also had some pretty significant swelling in this area on both eyes. And so I had to stop everything. And it was really frustrating because, especially for people who have a skincare routine, you feel like everything's going really well, you have your things set, you're using the ingredients that you want to use, and then all of a sudden something like this happens and you just feel stuck because, one, I didn't know what it was that had caused the reaction, and two, I had to stop using everything, which is okay. I mean, ultimately, I don't want to have irritated skin, so I'm going to do what I have to do. But basically, this video is going to be talking about what I ended up doing in order to help my skin recover. So there is a doctor that I subscribe to here on YouTube, and I'll make sure to link her video up in the eye. But basically I needed some kind of guidance on how to approach this situation. I had to stop everything, and then if I was going to use something, I would have to kind of test it in a small area, and if it started to sting, just take it off, and then I knew I wouldn't be able to use it. But basically I knew that if I couldn't do everything, or hardly anything, I at least want to be able to clean my face and add in some moisture without any fragrance. Unfortunately, sunscreen was a no for the most part because it stung as well. But when I really had to, like if we actually went hiking or something, I would at least put it on the side of my face because that's where I struggle for the most part with sunspots, and I would just wear a hat, but I couldn't wear it all over my face because that was stinging as well. So the two things I was able to continue to do while I was still out of town was use Clinique Take the Day Off Balm, and this is a cleansing balm. And then the other thing I would use after that I get from Amazon, and it is made in Japan. It's a Urea moisture lotion. So basically it's a moisturizing toner. Urea, the ingredient that's in this, is a very good moisturizer. So I was able to continue to use those two things. I had limited availability as far as what I could use or what I could get because we were in the middle of the mountains. So I had to wait till I got back home. But once I did get back home, I picked up this Laroche-Posay product, and it is the Cicaplast Balm B5. It has panthenol in it and antibacterial agents in it as well. But basically very few ingredients, soothing ingredients, and no fragrance. So I was able to start using this instead of Vaseline, which is very sticky. So I was happy to be able to get my hands on this. The other thing I was able to add back in that I actually already had at home was this advanced Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence by CosRx. And this is very soothing, very few ingredients as well, obviously fragrance free, and just super calming on the skin. And I had to do that for a few days. Once I didn't have any irritation, nothing was flaring back up, nothing was stinging, you know, out of the few things that I was using, I started adding in sunscreen. And I did that for a few days. And the sunscreen that I started with is actually a sunscreen that gets recommended when people have had, you know, like peels or laser treatments, that kind of thing. But it's the Elta MD UV Elements Broad Spectrum SPF 44. And again, I get this on Amazon. I was able to use it, no stinging, and I did that for a few days, waiting to see what my skin was gonna do with it. So once I was able to use sunscreen, I decided to go back to the facial cleanser that I had been using before, which is the Cerave Hydrating Facial Cleanser. So I used to do a double cleanse, and then once this whole reaction thing happened, I, you know, wanted to go minimal, and this was actually still stinging me, so I had to stop it as well. But since everything seemed to be going well, and this is actually a very gentle cleanser, it's not foaming, it doesn't have any fragrance in it, it has ceramides, I knew that I wanted to try it again, and if it did sting, I probably wouldn't be able to use it, but it didn't. So my skin seemed to be healing, and I wanted to get the ceramides back in to help with my skin barrier function. So I was really happy to be able to add this back in on top of my Clinique Take the Day Off Balm in order to be able to do the double cleanse again. And then once all of that was going well, and the last thing I'll talk about, because obviously there are more things that can be added into a skincare routine, but I don't want this to be terribly long. But basically the other ingredient that I really wanted to get back in to the routine was niacinamide. And so I started using my Cos de Baja niacinamide toner, and this is also something that I get on Amazon as well, and I had no irritation with it. This does help with your skin barrier as well, and a lot of other things, so I really wanted to make sure I could get that back in. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I have added in a couple more mild things. I'm looking to restart a retinol before vitamin C, just based on the research that I've done. Vitamin C may be one of the last things that I add back in, unfortunately. I hope that that was clear for you guys. Basically, I took a few days in between each ingredient that I added back in. I stopped all physical exfoliants. I stopped all chemical exfoliants. I stopped retinol. I stopped everything except for those two products I initially told you about, the Clinique and the Urea Moisture Lotion. So I added in one ingredient at a time, taking a few days in between to make sure that I wasn't gonna have a flare up, or I wasn't gonna actually react to whatever product it was that I was using. The other big thing that I did was do a lot of research, and I will link below the two websites that I ended up using to look at all of the ingredients that were in all of the products that I was using. And I think you have to take what I say with a grain of salt, as well as other people say as well, because everybody's skin is different. Everybody's skin will react differently. Some people's skin is perfectly fine with certain products, and some people are not perfectly fine with some products. So everybody is unique. And so if I say, oh, I don't like fragrance, that's my personal experience. That doesn't mean that you will have a problem with fragrance. If I say I don't like certain alcohols in my products, that doesn't mean that you'll have an issue. But for me, I just wanted to take out any possibility. I can tell you that I have kept very few products that had perfume in it, but they were at like the very last ingredient. So if you didn't know, when you're looking at ingredients in products, the first few are the highest concentration and the last few are the lowest concentration. So if fragrance was in the last few products or even the last product, I was like, okay, I think we might be okay here. If I really liked the product other than that and it had really good ingredients, I've kept it. Hopefully I've eliminated the problem, but I'm still in the process of adding one thing back in at a time. And as far as chemical exfoliants, I'm probably gonna keep it to the most gentle ones, and I'll probably only ever do it twice a week. And as far as physical exfoliants, I may only do that, I don't know, once every 2 weeks or maybe once a week. I don't know. I don't really even have a plan as far as physical, getting started back with physical exfoliants. So yeah, it's been a process. So, of all the things that I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, if you're doing any or all of those things, maybe go ahead and back off a little bit, or, just be very careful to pay attention to your skin. And if you start to notice any stinging, that means that you've added something that is irritating and you should back off. So yeah, lessons learned, and hopefully you guys won't have to go through this, but if you do, hopefully this was helpful. But also, like I said, I will link that video from the dermatologist that will help guide you through this, maybe a little bit better than what I have. I just wanted to share with you guys my experience and the products that I ended up using, and maybe some things to avoid. So I hope you have a good rest of the day, and until next time.